Do we then overthrow the law by this faith? By no means. On the contrary, we uphold the law. So because of faith, do we just get rid of the law? Is suddenly the law not important? Now that we're in faith, do we just say, oh, that doesn't matter anymore? We can just sin, we can just steal, kill, murder, commit adultery. We're in faith. We're in grace now. We're saved. So, does that just mean we just get rid of the law? No. In the new covenant, under grace, we actually uphold the law. We're not upholding the law in order to be saved. I mean, that is made abundantly clear already in the book of Romans, and it's going to be made even more clear in the rest of Romans. And so we're not upholding the law in order to try to be saved. We're not mixing Christ with the law. We're not trying to do all the Jewish practices in order to be saved. Paul here is not reinforcing Judaism. Jesus and Paul said that love is the fulfillment of the law. And so if you have love, then you would fulfill the law. In fact, if you have love, you don't even need the law telling you to do certain things. Because love just loves people. I love God, and so I'll live for God, I'll serve God, and I love people, so I don't murder them. I don't murder people because I love them. I don't steal from people because I love them. I don't commit adultery because I love people. I love my wife. And when you receive Christ and you are born again, God changes your heart. And we love because he first loved us. We receive this salvation. We're transformed. And so now we have the nature of God on the inside of us. We have the love of God on the inside of us. There's no longer any external law trying to tell us what we should do. And if you do those things, then it looks like you love people. If you have to be commanded to love, it's not really love. And so because we have God's nature, no one has to actually tell us, don't steal, lie, and commit adultery, because it's not in our nature to do those things. And so, do we do away with the law? No, rather we uphold the law. Why do we uphold the law? Because we can uphold the law, because he's changed our nature and we want to uphold the law. As a born-again man of God, I don't want to murder people. I don't want to steal, cheat, commit adultery. I don't want to lie and just all those things. I don't want to do those things because God has changed my nature. Now, I might be tempted to do some of those things, but actually my nature doesn't want to do those things. And so it's very important to see exactly what he's saying here. Some people will try to use this to say, see, we're still under the law. But actually what he's saying here is in the new covenant, we don't just get rid of the law and just think we can just live however we want. No, we get born again. God changes our heart. We actually fulfill the law because of his love and his nature inside of us. So before we were saved, and when people were under the old covenant, they were powerless to actually fulfill the law and to keep the law because of sin inside of them, because of the sinful nature. And when the law came, it actually provoked sin, and they wanted to sin even more. Law stirred up sin, and that external law was powerless to transform us and give us a new heart and a new nature and make us born again. What the law was powerless to do, Christ has done in his death and his resurrection. And so before, we couldn't fulfill the law. Now, in Christ, we don't have to fulfill the law in order to be saved, but actually we do fulfill the law because he's put his law in our heart and he's given us his nature. And that is the difference with the old covenant and the new covenant. That is why the new covenant is so much more superior than the old covenant. The old covenant was powerless, but the new covenant is powerful. And that is why the gospel is so amazing, because in the new covenant, grace and faith is what transforms us.